By now, you've all seen the anime Spy Family and you've fallen in love with each of the members of the Forger family, from Loid, the secret spy known as Twilight, to Yor, the assassin who goes by the name Thorn Princess, and depending on when you're watching this video, you would have already seen Bon, the dog who has the ability to see the future. But one thing I know for absolute certain is that Anya has wiggled her way into your hearts through her actions, because she's the lovable telepath that nobody in their right mind could ever dislike. However, as we've seen before, Anya's abilities to read minds is a bit overpowered. No thoughts are safe from her, especially when she's in close proximity to you. However, what if I told you that for as busted as this ability is, she's got a few huge weaknesses for her mind-reading powers? Well, in today's Spy Family video, we're going to be looking at all three major weaknesses of Anya's telepathic abilities, how her telepathic abilities work due to those weaknesses, and explain why they affect her in the way that they do, and how each weakness is ultimately going to lead to Anya's character experiencing tremendous character growth by the end of the series. So, jumping right in, Anya's ability to use telepathy allows her to read the minds of people like her parents, as well as animals that are around her, which is what she did when she found the penguin that had a bomb stuck in its throat, and like she does with her dog Bond whenever Bond sees the future. That being said, there's a trade-off for this pretty nasty power to read minds. Early on in the anime, you should have seen that Anya does get overwhelmed when she tries to read through too many minds at once when she's in a large crowd, and when this happens, she either passes out or her nose begins to bleed. It's similar to what we've seen in comics and in live action with the character of Superman and his ability to use super hearing. For example, in the Superman and Lois TV series that's going on right now, Superman's son, Jordan, when he first gets his super hearing, has trouble processing all the sounds that flood his ears all at once, just like Anya does when she hears too many thoughts at once. And over time, Anya, like Jordan in that TV show, will have to learn to focus to specifically narrow down on certain thoughts while blocking out all the other sounds that come from those large crowds, which we see her beginning to do when the Forger family is on a cruise ship while Yor's working on an assassination mission. Her other weakness is the biggest one, which is that she completely loses her powers on the night of the new moon, which I absolutely love for two big reasons. Number one, it gives us a moment to look forward to each month in the timeline, and it forces Anya to get more resourceful, especially while at school, because she can't use her telepath powers to cheat due to her powers being stripped away during this time. It also puts Anya in a position where her interactions are going to change, because she won't be able to read the minds of those around her to see how they feel about her and adjust her behavior accordingly around those people. For a character that's still a child who's still experiencing a lot of things for the very first time, this is a moment where a character is going to gain real experience in understanding others and building her own emotional intelligence. It forces her to not only rely on her own wits beyond her school tests, but because this family that she lives with, it's only a matter of time where Loid is going to be in a life or death situation and does not realize it, which means that if Anya's powers are shut off, she won't be able to read the minds of his enemies and run interference, just like she did when she saved Loid from being blown up by a bomb that was wired to go off once Loid opened up a specific door. The other reason I love this is that it also gives her the opportunity to build her social skills and the awareness that is ultimately going to allow her to win over Damien, which is a huge thing that Loid wishes to happen, because Loid wants to get close to Damien's father in order to accomplish his mission for Operation Strix. So far, Anya relying on her telepath powers hasn't gotten that aspect of her job done, but Anya building those social skills on the day of the new moon is something worth exploring narratively. Now, the second reason why I love this weakness is that it reminds me of one of my favorite series, which is Inuyasha, where the co-main character Inuyasha loses his powers on the night of the new moon each month, and each time this occurs, it raises the conflict for the story, which is the opportunity that you now have here with Anya. Now, her third weakness is the one that will be corrected as Anya's own intelligence grows, which is Anya can't comprehend the minds of complex individuals like Loid, which is why when she tries to read his mind when he's deep in thought, Anya's brain gets fried right then and there, and we've seen when she tried reading his mind to get the answers for the homework, Anya's brain fried right away because of all the thoughts going on inside Loid's mind. It's only when Loid has his mind set on very simple things that Anya's powers actually work on him. That brings us to the beauty of her being sent to Eden Academy. She's pretty stupid when we first meet her. There's no denying that, but her mind over time will grow sharper due to her studies there, which means that she can begin building herself up to understand complex minds like Loid. We see signs that Anya academically isn't a lost cause and that there is some intelligence there that needs to be pulled out of her, because when Yuri spent the whole day working with her to learn another language, she put the effort in. Though she did not progress enough for Yuri's sake, she still made progress, and we see her progress in her Eden Academy studies when the midterms start rolling around. When Loid tries to break into the school in order to change her answers and prevent her from failing, Anya, on her own merit, had already scored enough points in order to avoid failing altogether, which would have earned her a bolt for failing. However, Loid noted that if she had not made so many spelling errors, she would have actually gotten a higher score. If given the time to grow, Anya can learn to overcome her control issues with the telepathy, which means that she won't be reading every thought in the room around her, which also means that she won't have herself passing out or getting nosebleeds because she gets overwhelmed. It very well could lead to her slipping up and revealing the truth to Loid, which would lead to her learning and being taught how to use her power properly, and it brings father and daughter closer together, and it's not the craziest thing to happen either. In fact, it's already been foreshadowed, because Anya was almost caught by Yor, who for a moment wondered if Anya had been reading her mind, and because Anya had that ability, she saw what Yor was thinking and she changed her behavior accordingly. Anya's 3 weaknesses being losing power on the day of the new moon, unable to read multiple minds at once in a crowd without being overwhelmed, and being unable to comprehend complex minds are things that she can overcome and become a better character as a result, which is why her weaknesses, in my humble opinion, are so brilliant, because it essentially means that the smarter Anya gets and the more experience Anya gets, the more fun of a character she's going to be to read. However, I want to know from you guys, what are you guys' thoughts about Anya's weaknesses? Which one of those weaknesses do you think is the most telling, and which one do you think that she can improve the easiest? While you think over those questions, or if you're somebody who's still curious about things Spy Family related, you're going to want to check out the videos you're seeing on the screen right now.